You ever wonder what it's like to sell to people that are professional athletes or in the entertainment business, actors, actresses, famous people? Listen to this podcast. Victoria Massengale in Los Angeles, Hollywood, is catering to those kind of clients. Let's take a listen. Victoria Massengale, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for taking some time and talking to me about your business.
Thank you so much for having me.
Victoria, for everyone that's listening to us or watching us, where are you located?
I am in Hollywood, California. In fact, I have the Hollywood sign right outside my window here.
Wow. And Hollywood, California, is that an area that you're originally from, or are you a transplant?
No, I'm not a transplant. I am a fourth generation native of Los Angeles, and that is not something that most people can say. Most people are, it's unusual to find a native. It's certainly unusual to find a fourth generation.
Yeah, and you're obviously in real estate, you're a top sales agent. How did you get into the business? How long ago was it?
So I got into the business 22 years ago. I had previously done voiceover for cartoons and commercials, and I turned a certain age and realized that although acting was great and voiceover was fun, it was time for me to get a career as opposed to just, having fun doing commercials and cartoons. So I had a friend who was buying a house, and I got to be somewhat familiar with the process, and I just really fell in love with it. I thought, I think that's something that I could do and I could be really good at.
Yeah, and voiceovers, acting commercials, that's very unique. Did you do that for a long period of time?
I did it for about 5 years.
Okay. Any kind of crossover skills that you learn doing that kind of work into real estate?
I think that there's actually a lot of crossover between acting and real estate. And it isn't because I can act in front of clients. It's simply that you get to know about human emotions, and you get to you really know how to listen, as opposed to, when you're an actor, you have to really listen to your scene partner. And in real estate, you really have to listen to your client to hear what they're saying.
Okay, got it. So 22 years in the real estate business, and what does your business look like today?
Our business is mostly referrals.
Yeah?
And I work a lot with people in the sports and entertainment world. So I've worked with some coaches from the Clippers. I've worked with high profile people from the Dodgers, but primarily I work with writers, directors, producers.
And is that as a result of you coming from that industry before getting into real estate?
It is. It's partially from that. It's also, I had one client buy a house, and I ended up meeting their business manager, and their business manager started using me year after year. And from that, when you start selling higher profile people homes, it snowballs. Those people get to know you, they refer you to their friends. A lot of their friends are high profile people. You get to meet the business managers refer you. And then you also get to be known nationally. I'm part of the Compass Sports and Entertainment division. So I have 162 agents that I know that are referring me clients of theirs that are in the sports and entertainment industries. So it's really just about getting those first couple of clients and then allowing that to snowball.
So sports and entertainment clients, high profile, high performance clients, athletes, producers, directors, all the like. How are they different in terms of clients to a more just average kind of Joe type of client, buyer or seller?
So an average buyer or seller is going to be one or two people buying a house. They look at the house, they speak with their mortgage broker, they decide whether they can purchase the house, they write an offer. They're very involved.
Mhm.
When I'm working with some of my other clients, they have a larger circle that needs to be involved. For example, it's not just Mr. and Ms. Buyer, it is also their business managers, their lawyers, their assistants, their entire team. For example, I was working with someone recently and there were 9 people that had to be included on every email. That also meant there were 9 opinions. And as the agent, they're their group, right? They know each other, they work together. I'm the outsider. So I have to really learn how to become very malleable and fit in with their team in a cohesive way, as opposed to saying, I'm the agent. No, I'm just a piece of the cog, or I'm just a
Yeah.
cog in the machine.
And do you find it more, as a result, more challenging than working with sports and entertainment clients than your average buyer and seller?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have a multitude of personalities, it's going to be more challenging. I also think that it's more fun. Not that I don't appreciate everyone that I'm working with, and certainly, those Mr. and Ms. buyers. But I think that it makes me a much stronger agent for all of them. If you are working with me and you are a single or a couple, and I know how to work with large groups of people. I think that I end up having a lot more insight than what a quote unquote typical agent may have.
How did you get involved in the sports and entertainment? Was it early on in your 20 plus year career, or was it several years into it?
No, it was early on. The first house I sold randomly was an actress.
Mhm.
She came into an open house I was hosting for my mentor and didn't have an agent, and we hit it off. But she's not the one that really launched. I was working with I had a friend who I had been an actress with, and she was getting married, and she married someone also in the entertainment industry, and they ended up hooking me up with their business manager. And at the time, the business manager said, you can represent them on the buy side, but I have someone I've been working with on the sell side. He liked what I did. He liked me. And then I ended up selling their house
Mhm.
and getting referrals from that business manager for a long time. And then I also got referrals from that client. Their friends were in the entertainment industry. So again, it's really the snowball effect.
So your business is primarily referral based.
Yes.
If I'm a real estate agent or any kind of professional that relies on referrals, how do you network in a way where it gives you the opportunity for more referrals?
I really believe in seeing people face to face.
Yeah.
I believe in getting extra theater tickets. When Hamilton was in town, I'm a season ticket holder and I was able to get several different pairs of tickets. And that was when Hamilton was really hot and everyone wanted tickets. I also believe in like just inviting people to dinner, inviting people to coffee, or like I like off-season gifting.
Hmm.
So everyone gets something at the holidays, right? But what about like randomly sending someone something for Groundhog's Day? I know that sounds ridiculous. Nobody's getting gifts then,
I love
right?
it. Right.
So, or
Or
if you
April
see
Fools.
or April Fools. Absolutely. There are so many opportunities that people don't necessarily think of that are going to make you stand out from everyone else. If I send you a box of chocolates, or if I send you a gift basket with wine and you don't drink, then you're going to feel like I've never listened to you.
How in your business is that something that you have an assistant that helps you with, or do you have a CRM system? How do you remember that for all of your clients?
Right, through the CRM.
Yeah.
And what I really like to do is if you're out with someone, if you're showing them property and they happen to say, "Oh, I really like chocolate from this place," or we have a great bottle of wine last night. It was, from whatever. I remember that. I jot it down in my CRM. I put it on my notes in my phone at the time, and then I put it in the CRM. And then when it comes time, I had a client who could afford anything they wanted, but I knew that they really liked chocolate. And there in West Hollywood, there is a small batch chocolate company that makes these amazing chocolates. I sent her a little box of them, nothing huge, but I sent her a box. It made her realize or remember that, or realize that I listened to her when she said she liked chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just, she still talks about that $50, $60 box of chocolate. And like I said, she can buy anything she wants to.
Right, right. And are you finding that with your clients, the majority of your business is working with people in sports and entertainment, or is it?
About 85% of my business is people in the sports and entertainment.
Yeah.
But that being said, I live and work in Los Angeles.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Right.
entertainment in your neck of the woods.
Yeah. I mean, I have team members in our sports and entertainment division who say they live in St. Louis. They're not going to have the same percentage because it's just not
Yeah.
realistic.
So, Victoria, in your business, is it just you, or do you have a team of agents that work under you?
I have a partner and an assistant.
That's it.
That's it.
And how many deals will you typically close in a given year?
We usually do about 30.
Uh huh.
We're not doing hundreds of deals the way a lot of other agents are in other parts of the country, but our average is about 3 million.
Yeah.
And we just sold something for 6 million. We've got something in escrow right now for 2 million. So we really do that kind of like 2.5 to 10 million range.
Okay.
And we're
And
really, really white glove service. So we can't do well in Los Angeles, people don't do 400 deals anyway in the price ranges that we're talking about, unless they have a giant team. But we have to be so hands-on with people that it's not realistic.
right,
They want us. If you're working with a celebrity, they want you. If you're working with a business manager, they want you.
right.
And I know a lot of people would disagree with that, but that's okay.
Um, do you see yourself in the business for many years to come, or is this something that is you're looking to get out of the business? I find that asking this question to real estate agent, it depends on what day you ask them.
That is probably very true. Today, I will say I plan on being in this business for a very long time.
And what is it like for those that aren't real estate agents and that aren't really following the real estate market? What is the real estate market like right now for you?
You know, it's active. I understand that, interest rates are really high right now, but people are also starting to realize that they're not going to come down, and people still either need to or they want to move. We saw in the 5 million and above price range, it's still a little slower because Los Angeles just did this mansion tax, but it's busier than it was a year and a half ago when they implemented the tax. Um, We're seeing multiple offers on properties. We're not seeing, for me, we're not seeing 20 offers on a property, but we might see 2 or 3.
And with your clients that you're typically working with year after year, is it more seller-based or buyer-based?
It's more seller-based. It's a little closer. Last year was a little closer to half and half, but it's more seller-based. And then in the price ranges that we're working at, it's also a lot of cash.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of activity. It's mostly seller-based. The buyers that we have, for the most part, are either putting down a really large down payment or they're paying cash.
In your market, for an investor or just a regular buyer, what opportunities are there?
I think that there are still some opportunities kind of in the lower price ranges, say below 2 million, because a lot of those people aren't necessarily willing to take out a loan at 8%. So I think that it has shifted from necessarily looking at areas to now really kind of looking at price range.
Okay. And if you're a homeowner, a potential seller, what opportunities exist in this marketplace?
There's no inventory. We have so little inventory. We had an open house on Saturday and Sunday last week, and the house is listed at 4,995, and we had about 200 people come through our open houses.
Wow. In how many hours?
A total of 6 hours,
On what day of the week?
broken up between Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. Okay,
Yep.
over the weekend. That's a huge number of tours and visitors. And do you expect that to be the case for the next 12 months?
Well, I don't really know what's going to happen in the future, but I do know that we recently sold a house that was listed at 1.8 and we sold it for 2.25 and we had 9 offers. So looking at the last several months, as long as nothing drastic changes, and you never know, we have an election coming up and things tend to slow down during elections. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people would disagree with me, but I don't really see much of a slowdown. I think people buy when they can buy. People sell when they either can or need to sell.
How important is it having good inter-agent relationships in your market?
Inter-agent relationships are everything.
In what way?
Well, the $6 million house we just sold, it was in a very specific neighborhood. We knew several agents that were looking in that neighborhood for clients. It was a high profile person selling it. We knew that client didn't want it to go on the market. We contacted 5 agents, 5 who we knew the neighborhood, who we knew had the right clients, and we received a full price offer.
Yeah. From one of those 5 agents.
From one of those 5 agents.
Fantastic. So
So had those agents not had a good relationship with us, they wouldn't have been invited just because we knew the right agents to call.
And don't you think go ahead.
The agents that share with us, the agents that we share with are, really quality agents who have stellar reputations.
And in the news, there's a lot of things, with NAR and the out of court settlements, buyer representation, the increase of technology and AI, the future of the real estate agent seems to be questioned by a lot of people. But hearing those kind of stories just reaffirms in my mind how important and how irreplaceable we are as real estate agents, at least the good ones.
Well, when I first started real estate, we had the book where we would look through
Mhm.
and we had all of the information. And then we got the MLS, and it was great because it was only available to agents and it was so much easier and faster for us. And then I realtor.com came along, and then all of the other sites, and people said, oh, real estate agents are no longer necessary. And then people started doing their own deals, and they realized that we actually have a lot of knowledge and a lot to offer besides just going shopping with them.
Yeah.
Going shopping is fun, right? Looking at houses is fun. That's great. That's although still our job, that's this much of our job. It's to say it's the tip of the iceberg is really anybody can look at houses, anybody can send you listings. I mean, not anymore with the new rules and the new agreement, but you can go to open houses. It's how are you going to get the house after you go to the open houses? Who's going to lead you through the inspections? Who's going to make sure that you are getting the right price, that the negotiations are going smoothly, the disclosures, who's going to read the disclosures and say, you know what, this doesn't look right. Let's dig into this a little bit further. Because people can say, oh, I can read a disclosure, but are they really going to know kind of the difference, the nuances of like,
Right.
let's check this out.
You know, being in the business for over 20 years, I I run a fairly big team here in the Baja, and a lot of our agents are newer to the business. And talking with experienced agents, it's always interesting to hear the answer to this question, which is, if you were getting started in the business today, knowing what you know now, how would you do things differently?
I don't know that I would do anything differently. And the reason I say that is because when I first got in business, I had the opportunity to choose between two mentors. And I was also a little bit older, right? I was about 30 when I got into business. So I had the opportunity to choose between two mentors. One, they were the condo kings. I thought they'd be a really good mentor, but they specialized in condos. And the other, I did not necessarily think was going to be a good mentor. I thought that I didn't necessarily think I was going to learn a lot from him in a mentorship way, but he sold homes in the Hollywood Hills. And because I chose him, because I knew where I wanted to sell, I sat a home every week that he didn't want to sit the open house for anymore. It had been on the market for a year. Took my little homemade loaves of banana bread and water, and I sold that house for $3.5 million. And 22 years ago, $3.5 million was a really, really big sale. So I knew that if I sat in the office and I listened to other people and how they were working and how they were having conversations, that I would learn from them. And I really think I would still make that same decision.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the things that is very important for new agents and experienced agents is to have that mentor, and so that you can forge ahead learning from people's past experiences and failures and successes. So
Yep.
I think that's definitely something that has been very positive in your business.
Well, I also made sure, and I still do, that I went to every class I could about the contract.
Mhm.
Because I believe very firmly that if you don't know the contract like the back of your hand, then you are doing yourself and your clients a disservice.
Victoria, my last question for you, and thank you once again for your time. I'm here in Cabo San Lucas. A lot of our clients are based in Los Angeles, Southern California. Do you ever get down to Cabo, or do you have clients that get down here?
I have never been to Cabo. As an LA native, I have no excuse. And I know that I have clients that go down and visit. But yeah, I have never been. I can't wait to see you in person.
Yes, I'll invite you for an event we're planning in November, so you'll have to come to that event.
That sounds amazing. I'd love to.
Well, Victoria, once again, thank you for your time. You've been very generous, and it's a pleasure to get to know you better.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronaval Real Estate and follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronaval. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronaval.com or findmexicohouses.com. Hasta luego.